My name is Olive Namutebi. I am the Executive Director at Albinism Umbrella. This is a local NGO that was formulated to advocate for persons with albinism in Uganda. Coming to voice in 2018. Yeah, our coming was, I can say, supernatural, if I can use that. Because yes, we got to voice non-directly. At the time, we really just very new because we had just been incorporated. We didn't have any experience. You know the requirements to really come to voice. So we came through an organization. We had this great idea of collecting data for persons with albinism, yet we didn't know who to listen to us. So through this organization, they were willing to handhold us to realize that dream. So we applied. Unfortunately, when they did the Ramon on the organization, it was unsuccessful. So thanks to Voice, that they picked the idea more, they saw the greatness of the idea more than the big organization that would handhold us. So they risked, as in Voice really took a huge risk to go down to Albinism Umbrella. So small, I remember even Ramon, not really, yes, but they had to do Ramon on us as Albinism Umbrella in our one room somewhere in Bukoto, unless we had an office. So there we began. We felt we had really been lifted too high. You know how you have a baby beginning to run before they crawl? We're like, okay, but yeah, we're up to the task. At Albinism Umbrella, we always say, given chance, do your best. Do your best. So this was the zeal that, yeah, myself and the team of other two, we said we will do it, we'll do that job with a lead consultant. So yes, one, it was very exciting that for me as a person, I was going to get to know where my other people are, people with albinism. This had been like $1 million question that I would always want to know. Who are we? Where are we? What are the challenges? Yes, I face my own, but I don't know all. So for me, this was a very big opportunity that I will get to know where my people are. Fast forward, 2019, we finished our data collection, and the innovation I think that got us here was that digital mapping. And we did this, I should say, even as the method was still in the kitchen cooking what we think we should bring on table, I was skeptical of what if we get to know where they are and then the bad guys get us and, you know, kill us. But then worse still is, if you do not know where you are, then you won't be able to do anything. So, well, we went there, and on this fact-finding mission, we used our very own, used in not a bad way, but yes, we said we will have our own as leads to where others are. For those of you who are familiar with research, it was not those sampling methods, no. It was snowball, where you go to Olive, they lead you to Ivan, they lead you to Dorothy, and for some reason we would know where we are. Amazing, you know. Where the district leaders need to know where we are. You look at those big offices, I won't name them, but the guy is like, I really don't know where you are. I don't think, they're not anywhere here. Do you have any program for them? Oh, of course, no. Me, I actually see them at a distance, and these are leaders who know nothing about them, who just see them somewhere off, and they're like, that's a dangerous group, or we don't have anything for them. In Manafa, for me, it was good to know that the origin of a myth that people with albinism disappear, I should say, began there. An elder told us that back then, because of course they didn't know what albinism was, and they would try to explain it away. So when a person with albinism died, they would go in the night and put them on that river that is nearby. I was comforted that I can even get the root of certain myths. And, you know, through Voice, other people came on board, like the UN Human Rights, and they also did a situation analysis. And it was evident that there's many tribes in Uganda, as many myths about albinism. Every tribe has its myth. So 2019, one of the things that we did that really amplified our voice was the launch of our report. We called not the usual suspects, I should say, because most people that stood up to speak were amazed at how we got those rare but very relevant people to be in that room. And that got the government to stand up and say, okay, there is this group. And in this, we, maybe coincidence, because we're in Eastern Uganda, Kamuli is one of the districts where we profile people with albinism, and their woman MP doubles as the Speaker of Parliament. We got a voice with the Speaker of Parliament. Through this, she knew the problem in her own constituency and said, we would love to know where you are, but as Parliament, really it's because she's, I think, in that position, that we did fundraising walks for the past 4 years. It was an annual event. Because of the work Albinism Umbrella has done, we dream of having, I don't want to call it a rehab, a skilling center, so that's what we're fundraising for. But it's until we came out to profile people with albinism that these efforts are coming into play. And voice, we should say we're very excited that we've been hosted, not only the Oxfam team in Uganda, we were part of the team that went to the Endeavour in Nairobi, again telling people of the amazing things that can happen when people get together. So that being there, but we also hosted the Ambassador for Women's Rights. Hey, that was big for Albinism Umbrella. And when that grant ended in 2019, yes, it was a hard time. We solely depended on that, I should say. We didn't have any other people or grants or donors coming on board. But there was one small one that trickled in that sustained us. So in that time of not desperacy, but we looked out for more opportunities. So this call, the global call, was there because I was interested in knowing what voice is up to. There were those other moments of linking and learning, and some of the lessons that we've learned in voice. It is, for now, yes, Albinism Umbrella has other donors, but voice still stands out, is how unique it implements or lets the beneficiaries take the lead. One of the things that for me was very strong is outcome harvesting. Now, I remember I went, I think in Ginger, where we learned about outcome harvesting. Quite often, you are new to this environment of NGO and how you report. They tell you about the processes, but along the process, there are certain things that are changing. Actors are getting to do things differently because of your intervention, and we would not pick those. So for us, there are those things that were not main objectives in our work, but then they became so instrumental. One such point is some guy that has albinism and had a wound. It was even a fungal infection around his neck. It was really bad. He had been dumped in hospitals. The story is long and bad. But because we got to him, and with all the challenges that he had, we decided to take this big step. We took him to hospital, a regional hospital. Even then, what he had previously told us of rejection, nurses not attending to him, we experienced it firsthand. It took Olive to call the medical superintendent to have a service for a person with albinism. How sad, but yes, that is what it means to have our voices heard. And I'm sure that the medical personnel in that regional hospital had their minds changed because the phone calls came from up to down to have a service rendered to a person with albinism. So the lessons are many. We can't end the gratitude that we have for voice. As a global grantee, it was also a very exciting moment to go through that rigorous process. There were, I don't know how many people applied, but I know there were really many, up to 30-something, then up to 6. Wow, it's such a big honor. And the lessons are amazing. Linking and learning is one other thing that I know has really amplified our voice as Albinism Umbrella, but more so learning. We are getting to different state actors, we are getting other NGOs to work with, and we see that our journey is getting brighter and better by day. This particular annual Linking and Learning event has brought out something new about the power in consortiums. I should say, yes, Albinism Umbrella, even now, as a global grant, we are the only organization that is alone. The rest are in consortiums. And I realize the synergies that come when you put your strengths together. So for me, that is really, really high. And I've already earmarked some people that will go up and get better. The other thing, of course, I've learned more about the LGBTI. Yeah, you open your mind up to learn. It was not a closed subject, but it's not quite often that you get to hear these shared openly. It's, the environment we work in, most of you know. So that was also another lesson. And Evidence and Methods Lab was also another grantee that really